We're on Jazz Street with Grammy Award-winning arranger and pianist Randy Waldman. Randy, welcome to Rochester.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. The whole Grammy thing was such a shock. I still don't realize it actually happened.
Talk about let's start with the project Superheroes, how it came to be, and you got such an amazing array of guests: Steve Gadd, George Benson, Wynton Marsalis, just to name a few. And what was the inspiration for doing Superheroes?
I was at a dinner with the original Batman, Adam West, and we started talking about music, and he said he loved jazz, and I thought this is like a jazz superhero. And it just put the idea in my head, and then when it came time to do another record, I was trying to think of something very unique, and I went, jazz superheroes, that would be perfect. So I want to get all my favorite jazz superheroes to play superhero theme songs, and that's how it came about.
So going from there, yeah, theme songs from Mighty Mouse, Batman, both TV show and movie.
Right.
So how were you able to select all these great TV and movie theme songs and shows?
I listened to every possible superhero theme that I could find. I went on YouTube and did all kinds of research, and anything that had a great melody or something catchy about it, I put it in my pile of, the list of something to try and figure out if I could do something creative with to make it unique. And a lot of them I liked, but I just couldn't figure out what to do with them. So that's how I sort of narrowed it down to the songs that we had. And the way I got George on it, he was a huge Superman fan. And I mentioned it to him one day. We were in London at Ronnie Scott's, and we were backstage, and I said, hey, George, I'm doing this record, Superheroes. And he had this guitar in his hand, and he just started playing Superman. I went, you have to play on this record. So that's how that came about.
Speaking with Randy Waldman. So Randy, now you're asking for Chick Corea and Wynton Marsalis. How were you able to get them involved in that project?
I have no idea. Some of it was by accident. I was playing at Bill Clinton's birthday party with Barbra Streisand, and Wynton Marsalis was on the bill. It was just 3 or 4 people, each singing or playing 3 or 4 tunes. And Wynton was backstage, and I started telling him about the project, and I just asked him, I said, would you consider playing a solo? And he said, sure, and he gave me his cell phone number, and that's how that happened. It all just sort of, I just figured, why not go for it? It doesn't hurt to ask. And everybody I talked to said yes.
Speaking with Randy Waldman. So Randy, from there, you put the session together, it's in the studio, you're realizing this is going to work. I mean, that must have been such an amazing feeling knowing that this is actually happening.
It took so many years to do because I decided I didn't want to do it unless I had all my favorite people. So I just figured I might be, 100 years old by the time I finish it, but I'm just going to do whatever it takes to try and at least reach out to all these great jazz artists that I loved to see if they did it. And one after another, they said yes, yes, yes. So it was great.
Speaking with Randy Waldman. So Randy, you actually have 2 other gigs. Before we get to the George Benson gig, you're also a licensed pilot.
I've been a helicopter instructor and an airplane instructor for over 25 years. And whenever I'm not at the piano, I'm usually at the airport or in the air.
What inspired you to take to the skies?
That's another story. I was just riding my bicycle past a little radio-controlled airfield one day, and somebody was doing aerobatics with a radio-controlled helicopter. And I went up to him, I said, that's really cool, I want to learn how to do that. He goes, well, I'm an American Airlines pilot, I don't teach people how to fly the little radio-controlled things. I could teach you how to fly a real airplane. I said, okay, and that's how that all started.
So cool. Speaking with Randy Waldman, and then being with George Benson, how long have you been the music director with George?
I started working with George back in the 70s, the late 70s. I was a music director for a singer named Minnie Riperton, and she did a tour with George as his opening act. And I got to know George and got to know the guys in the band. So when his piano player left, they called me and asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was thrilled.
Speaking with Randy Waldman, which actually leads me to my next question. Minnie Riperton, so many people are starting to learn about her because of her daughter, Maya, but what was she like as a person? Because you worked with her and knew her.
Minnie was very special. She was very, very funny, had a great dry sense of humor, was always doing little practical jokes, and a great artist, and just a really nice person, and we had a great time together. And speaking of Maya Rudolph, she was a little infant when I was working with Minnie, and that's the last time I've seen her. She was this big, and I would hold her in my arms, and she's gone on to great success.
Speaking with Randy Waldman, what's it like being the music director for George?
George is so easygoing. You know, he just looks at me and goes, hey, what do you feel like playing? And sometimes he'll play what I want to play, and sometimes he'll just start playing what comes to his mind. He won't even know what it's called, and we have to just jump in. And it's very sort of spur of the moment kind of thing, you know, just whatever comes to his mind or whatever I think of, that's what we play. So we don't know what we're going to play tonight until we're on stage and we just start playing, which is very different from most artists.
Yeah, especially George. Speaking with Randy Waldman. Randy, thanks so much again. Congratulations again on the Grammy Award, and much success to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and enjoy the festival.